Welcoming you all back to XL 10 Minute Leaders Live. My name is Graham Brown. We only have 10 minutes with each guest, but an insight into their world. And if you're interested, you can go and find out more about them. I'm sure you're going to be interested in our next guest joining us from California, Lisha Davidovits. Lisha, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you here.
Thanks.
All right, so there's a bit of a story to unearth today with you, but we only have 10 minutes, so we'll do our best. We've only got 10 minutes to ask questions. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, so the formalities first, Lisha. If you have a business card, do you have a business card? If you do, what does it say on it?
Yes, my business card says the name of my business, Coach Lisha. I am a success coach for high achieving millennials.
What does a success coach do, Lisha?
Well, a success coach can have a variety of definitions, but the way that I define it and the clients that I serve is people that are looking for greater success. And so many of us do want that greater success. We're high achievers. We want to be successful, whether it be professionally or personally. We have that goal. We set ourselves to go out and achieve that. And sometimes we do it, sometimes we don't. Oftentimes, though, there's a lot of stress, anxiety, frustration, nerves that go along with it. And so I help people go from where they are to where they want to be, not just with more success, but also with more ease and flow, with more happiness, and often even better outcomes than they otherwise would have experienced.
How do you define success, quote unquote? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to people? Is it the same thing?
Well, that's a great question. And when I work with clients, each client is seen as an individual. That's so important with coaching, to not compare, to look at each person as an individual, as naturally creative, resourceful, and whole, and to say, here is this person unlike any that I've ever met, because we're all individuals. We all want to be seen that way. We all hopefully see ourselves that way. And so therefore, success can only be defined by each individual, and it varies as much from one person to another to another. So it's getting curious, just like you are, about what is that success? What does success mean to you, is what I ask a client. What does that look like? Let's describe it. Let's make it so clear that you will absolutely know once you've reached it, or if you've fallen short of the mark, and then we know that we need to keep going.
Do you find that people hold on to ideas of success which aren't their own when you do the coaching?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
how does that work?
so often people will have an idea of, and this, as I say this, it hits a point, because so many times success is defined maybe by what our parents say. In order to be successful, you need to make a lot of money, you need to do something that's prestigious, become a lawyer, become a doctor, go into technology, something that, is seen as very highly regarded. And that is success. What, you want to become a pastry chef? That's not successful. So people have different definitions of what success is. And oftentimes we kind of fall prey to that, because we're looking at people and saying, well, they have our best interests in mind, so that's what I should do. And there have been so many people that I've worked with where they do what they feel like they should do, and their heart's not in it. It's not what they love to do. Yeah, they're good at it. Yes, they can make money. Yes, they are quote unquote successful, and they're not happy. And then they're lost, and they're saying, I've gone down this road and I feel pulled towards this, and I'm on this path. And so then it's looking at what is it that lights you up, and kind of taking a step back and saying, where are you aligned, and what you love to do, what the world needs, what your gifts are, what you enjoy, and what you can get paid to do if you're looking to get paid for it. So it's kind of recalibrating, realigning with one's authenticity, and then going from there. And oftentimes, so many times, people end up doing even better, going far beyond into what they are doing when they make that shift into what's really aligned with their passions, their desire, their gifts, than they were previously. And they live longer, happier, healthier lives, have stronger relationships with others and with themselves because of that too.
It's great. Well, I'm going to ask you a little bit about your story in a minute, but before we go there, you mentioned something quite important, which is that it seems that a lot of these ideas of success come from people who are very close to us, who love us. And as much as they love us and care for us, their ideas of success might not actually be good for us. And therefore, that's why it's important to have people on the outside of that relationship who can advise us and coach us, who see it for what it is. And that's the hard part, isn't it? Because our parents, our co-workers, best friends, these are the ones that maybe shape these stories of success for us, and we trust
Yeah,
them.
absolutely. So true. And especially for millennials, social media often defines that.
Mm,
Well, this person's doing that. This person's doing that. I need to be doing this. I need to be doing that. Well, what's my excuse for not making millions my first year and doing my business? And
yeah,
so then, yeah, there's that pressure, which are these,
pressure.
false expectations. And I so often ask clients, like, what's true about this
Mm,
statement that you have, this belief? Where's the truth? And so often they'll be like, hmm, well, I don't know. And all of a sudden, then we start to be able to shift their perspective and realize there's so much story that is created from other people's narratives, whereas
mm.
people that we care about, who care about us, to what we see online, to what we read in the media, to what social media depicts. And so once you start to parse that out, it really alleviates a lot of that pressure and creates much more clarity and truth.
Absolutely. Instagram has a lot to answer for in this story as well. Everybody on there is
Yeah.
on a private jet or living on a luxury resort in some island somewhere. What about your own
Yes. Yeah.
story, Lisha? How do you come into this? Why are you doing this? What's your superpower in all of this? And why are you passionate about this?
I have always loved to learn about what makes people tick, fascinated by them. My mom would go to get her nails done when I was in elementary school, and I loved to go with her and sit there and talk to the people that would be waiting in the lobby area. And I would sit there and hear their stories and ask them questions. And there was one time I remember a woman said to my mom after she had, my mom came back from having her nails done, and the woman said, I'm really sorry, your daughter, she invited me to dinner and I have to, like, respectfully decline. My mom said, I don't know what I would have done if she had said, I'd love to come to dinner.
That's
So
cute.
it's just this, love for people,
Mm,
this genuine interest in them. And then, over time, I would talk to friends and say, oh, I was in the supermarket and so, in line told me this interesting story. And people started saying, people don't usually share those things. And I was hearing a lot, people don't usually share those things.
mm,
And I realized, wow, this is cool that people feel comfortable opening up to me. And I really felt that as a gift that people felt open and that people were sharing their stories with me. And
mm,
with that fascination, I went on to get degrees in psychology and communication. And it was all about, client facing work, and then working for Dale Carnegie, helping people to accelerate themselves professionally, helping them to bridge the gap from where they were and where they wanted to be, hearing more of their stories. And then I became a full-time mom years later and devoted myself to that, because when I do something, I want to go all in. So I was there for my kids during their critical years. Once they started school, I was looking at, okay, what's next for me? And a really powerful conversation with a friend triggered in me this light of, like, maybe it's coaching. I had thought about it before. I had never thought about going out into my own business, but I realized that would give me the ability to still be with my kids and do what I really, really love. And this conversation with a friend had led this person to say, wow, through this conversation, you answered all my questions. You answered questions I didn't even know that I had. And so, that gave me the confidence to know, yes, this was a great path for me to look into
mm.
pursuing. And as I learned more about coaching industry and then went on to get certified and then started coaching, it's just been so incredibly resonant and rewarding and so fulfilling with the impacts that I'm making in people's lives.
Mm. I can tell that. I can tell you've got the passion for it as well. It gives you
Yeah.
the energy.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the time that we have left, let's say we've got 2 minutes, what can you teach our audience, our listeners? What wisdom can you impart with them? I know it takes a lot longer than 2 minutes, but just for the
Sure.
purpose of playing along, in two
Yeah.
minutes, what can you teach them about success, those quick wins that could really change their lives for the better? Stage is yours,
Yeah.
Lisha.
Well, I would say, so much of it is kind of listening to that inner critic. And anytime that you're feeling this voice of, like, I should do this, I shouldn't do that, and there's energy that's negative or tense or, emotion that's negative, know that that is not serving your best interests. Take a moment to shift. There's a really easy exercise. You take your fingertips and you rub them gently together like this for 10 seconds with eyes closed, feet firmly planted, spine straight. Do this for 10 seconds. Just focus on the ridges of the fingertips. If a thought comes in, let it go. Another thought comes in, let it go. Return your focus to the ridges of the fingertips, making little circles. And what do you notice?
Calm.
Calm. There you go. Yes. And from that place of calm, you're able to access a different part of the brain that gives you access to more curiosity, patience, positivity, laser focus. And through that, that is the path to greater success, coming from that place rather than the push, push, push. So that is one of many different exercises that I work with clients on to be able to make that shift from less stress to more success.
Yeah, I like it. Changing the state so they can make better decisions. So they're not making them
Yeah.
out of fear, the fear of missing out or fear of rejection, a lot of what shapes our agendas, isn't it? But making them based out of your own center and what is
Yeah.
important to you as well. That's
Right.
Coach
Exactly.
Lisha, everybody. I'm sure people want to find out more about you. Where would we go?
Yeah, so my website is coachlisha.com, as you see on the screen, Lisha. And I'm also on Instagram and Twitter at coach_Lisha and on Facebook at Coach Lisha. And I post frequently. I have videos on YouTube on my Coach Lisha channel with lots of interesting, motivating, inspiring content.
Fantastic. Lisha